Hello friends! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Alex. I'm an artist in San Antonio, Texas, and today I'm going to be talking about all the art I made in September and also a little bit of August. So the reason why this is kind of 2 months, the last thing that I posted was my travel sketchbook from a vacation that we went to Europe, and that was in August, and so I spent like a chunk of August like there and only working on that, and then whenever we came back I spent a few weeks like finishing it because I really wanted to finish the whole sketchbook. So I worked on that into September. So I really just had a few things from August, so I figured I'd add the things that weren't the travel sketchbook here. So I'll show you a few things that weren't that I did in August, and then once I kind of got that finished, the other stuff that I did in September. So it is sketchbook work, some paintings, some small paintings, and then I have some fiber pieces that I've been working on that I'll talk about more at the end. Let me turn you around and we'll do the small stuff and sketchbook stuff first. Then I'll bring you back here to show you my larger works and my new fiber pieces. Alrighty, hello. I have a lot of different things that I made the past few months. So like I said in the last video that I posted, I talked about this sketchbook. So here's kind of a sneak peek. I'm not going to go through everything, but I talked in that video about everything that I made and like where I made it and everything from this. So little plug for that other video. I'll do sketchbooks first and then talk about these few like finished things. Okay, let me do these so I can get these out of the way. This one might be hard to see, but I was just kind of playing around with some Pexels photos and painting. This one I was working on redoing a large painting and it just didn't really come out right. This is a reference photo from my trip. I like how this one came out. I wish I would have done it on something a little bit heftier. This is the start or kind of a practice for another piece that I did. Oh, that I didn't grab because I didn't realize this was in these months. I'll show later that I've been doing some more like fiber pieces. This one got damaged. Got a little pimple right there. But again, this is just from a Pexels photo, and I was just playing with wrapping fabric around canvases to see how the like paint does and how it holds up. It's not very strong, but that's okay. It's the same reference as before. So yeah, let me move these larger ones out of the way. Okay, this is kind of my main sketchbook. So let's see. This is September. Did I? Okay. These, not this. These might be from August. No, I was testing out these colors. I think these are my last ones. Okay, here's August 1st. Perfect. Yeah, so the August sketchbook spreads that weren't part of my travel, because this was before I left, and I was still just playing with the colors and everything that I was going to bring on that trip. And then September, after my trip, I'm thinking about making this idea into a giant quilt. We'll see if that works out. And here's a little picture of my dog that I did. His face looks kind of crazy, but that's like exactly what his little body looks like on my couch. More quilt things. This is from some art hang party. Yeah, I like hopped on a art hang party and started doing these here, and then I had to jump off for some reason. More quilts. These were ideas for like stickers, I think. I'm working on doing some new stickers.
These are ideas kind of for ornaments that I want to do for Christmas. And I did these while I was sitting at a market, and there was a kid next to me that was like just so impressed with my sketchbook, and he was so cute. And he was like, "Can you draw a dragon fruit?" So I pulled up a reference book and drew a dragon fruit for him. And then I also drew a squirrel and a bumblebee on that same day. And that is it. That's all the sketchbook stuff that I did. Like, other than the travel sketchbook, all that I did in 2 months, which is kind of crazy. Okay, so finished work. I did do a few finished paintings. So let's do like maybe this little one first. Sorry, that was loud. It's some cherries. Everyone really likes my like fruit paintings at markets and things, and yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to do cherries on a really small one. So we did that one. I wanted to do a new bluebonnet painting. I had one that was sort of kind of similar to this that I sold, and I also just wanted to make a better and brighter one. So this is 4 by 4. This one is 5 by 7, just in case you're wondering. And then I did a Polaroid camera. This is just from a Pexels photo of a Polaroid camera. It's just something I've been thinking about doing a lot lately. And then this one here is a sunflower, also from a Pexels photo. So you might be able to tell for all of these, I did a hot pink layer underneath. So like here's a pink blank one, like a fluorescent pink layer, and then painted on top of that. So just leaving that in some of the gaps just makes it really glowy, and I think it's a lot of fun. I've seen a lot of artists do something similar, whether it's hot pink or something else that's really bright. Like I've seen people do like pretty much the same hot pink. I don't know, I always kind of felt like that couldn't be my thing. But whenever I do it, I so enjoy it, and I think I'm just gonna keep doing that. Oh, one more little thing. Last thing. I'm working on doing some holiday ornaments. So I got these ornaments from Etsy, and I'm just working on painting them. So I've only done these 2. This is, I think this might be the second one that I did. I can't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna be selling these in my shop. Probably after, like right after Halloween, and I'll be bringing them to markets and stuff too. And I got, whenever I ordered these, they came with these great boxes, which is really nice. I did these really nice handmade ornaments last year, and I really liked them, but it was so much work. Like it was a full round ceramic ornament, so they were a little expensive. It took me a really long time to paint each one, and I had to source all the packaging and everything separate. So I went with a cheaper ornament, and then I could just do one little painting. They don't take me nearly as long to do, and I still think that they're special. Like it's still ceramic, it still has like a weight to it. And these ornaments came with these boxes that are really secure, and then I just put, these are my stickers that I use on my bags and everything. So I think that this, like, as packaging is so nice.
All right, a few kind of bonus larger things. This is just a giant sketchbook, but I wanted to do a practice cat. Like, I don't know, I really wanted to do that one day, so I got my neighbor to send me pictures of her cats, and this is Cheese. Okay, so then the fiber stuff that I'm working on. I'm trying to think of like if I would have talked about this in one of my last videos, but I don't think I have, especially not anything that was specifically art related. I am going to do a show. I'm going to do a solo show. It's at a coffee shop. It's not like a typical coffee shop where they like have a few art things on the wall. They have big white walls. They have a lot of space, and so they do an art opening, and they have a different artist or group of artists every month. And so it does, like, it feels like a real solo show, even though it is like at a coffee shop. Yeah, I think it'll be cool because a lot of people will actually see it. Like, people go in there and like post on Instagram and stuff like that. Anyway, if you're in San Antonio, it's at Bright on Blanco. And I'm going to be doing that in June of next year. So it's October. So I have quite some time, but I'm just thinking about what I want to do for that because I want to make a lot of new work for that show. My plan is to incorporate my painting practice with fiber work, like mostly quilting, but also like incorporating knitting, crochet, and like other kinds of sewing. So I've gotten my sewing machine back out and I have been sewing. I've been making some clothes that I've been talking about on my knitting videos. I have been making these little quilt kind of samples because I wanted to make quilts that I could then wrap around canvases so that it's like a canvas. So this is kind of what I'm talking about. This is just like a super basic one, but yeah, it's like a little quilt that's then wrapped around and back stapled. And what I want to do is like be able to attach different elements and then wrap it so it feels more like painting. Let me show you kind of the first quilt piece that I did before I decided I was going to put them on the stretcher bars. And this is what kind of started it all. I still need to sew this down. But this is some like a hand quilted block, a knitted section, and just some like patchwork piece. And then I finished this like quilt on the edge. This, I wouldn't be able to hang this at Bright because they have a wire hanging system. So I really need to have something that's like sturdy that I can put a wire on the back so that I can hang them on it's like wires that go this way on a line. So I can hang them and they'll like balance. So I decided that I would try some small ones. Thankfully my neighbor had a staple gun, so I'm just using that. I didn't have to buy one. But yeah, these were kind of my test pieces, this one and this one, so I could see how it would work to wrap the quilts around. So this one I have batting that was like big, and then I wrapped the batting fully around. So this is kind of puffy right here. This one I only have batting on the front and the sides, and it just looks cleaner, so I'll probably do that. I don't know. I'm just like not crazy about like if this is the wall, like that being visible and like puffy against the wall. But yeah, so I'm gonna keep working on bigger ones. I have in progress one that has painting of some scissors and then some little blocks that I'm gonna put around it. I can get a separate clip of that because it's all pinned to the wall separately. And then I also made this piece, which I talked about briefly in a knitting video. This is a bunch of scraps, like tiny, tiny little fabric scraps that are kind of in the same color family because they're leftovers from like those projects and, you know, other stuff. It's like colors that I really like that I want to incorporate into this like body of work. I took all these little scraps and cut them up and attached them to a piece of fabric that I attached to. This one's on a panel instead of like stretcher bars because that's what I had. I wanted it to be 12 by 12. So yeah, this was a labor of love. It's for a show, or it's submitted to a show. That is about, the show is about sustainability and circularity. So I use a lot of secondhand materials in my work, but I wanted to kind of think about how I could make something that was more specifically about sustainability. So I focused a lot more on like tiny scraps and like things that wouldn't be usable otherwise. Like they're like unusable scraps. Like whenever you cut things out, you end up with weird skinny shapes that like are really hard to do anything with other than like maybe stuffing something. So the piece is kind of about like the potential in our like waste, especially like when it comes to like art making supplies, like how kind of beautiful even like the little leftover bits are. That's what I was going for. That's what it's about. And I worked really hard on it, and I successfully submitted it in time, which is good. And if it doesn't get into the show that I applied for, which is, it's a show that's like at the end of the year this year, if it doesn't get in, it's totally okay, because I will use it for my show in June. And I think it was a really good practice for me to like think about that. And I spent so much time on it. And like at the beginning of the process, I was like, I knew it was going to take a long time, like a really long time, and I didn't know how long. And I was a little bit scared to like get into it because I didn't want it to be a waste of time. I was scared that I would start and I wouldn't be able to finish, I wouldn't like it, and like I would be, 20 hours in and decide that it wasn't worth it and like waste my time. But I really needed to like reframe my thinking on that. Like it's not a waste of time if you're trying something out, if you're making something that no one's made before, like that is worth doing. And even if it didn't work out or didn't become part of the show, like it's still time well spent for my practice. And I'm really, really glad that I did it. I think that's it. I hope that you enjoyed looking at my sketchbooks and talking to me about art and fiber and everything, or really just listening to me talk. I'd love to hear what you're working on. What do you do whenever you're watching these? And yeah, that's really it. I'm happy to be here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!